All right, thank you for coming on time. The class is small, but not this small. So there is something that I'm going to keep repeating today. The way I take attendance is that whenever you arrive, you should enter something into the chat box so your full name is displayed. If your full name is displayed in the icon, a hello will be good, like it shows in the chat box right now. But if your icon says JP's phone, you need to actually enter your own full name. This is how I take attendance. One thing, don't do it before I arrive because it starts recording for some weird reason. It starts, so if you sign in before I arrive, I will think you never signed in. But don't be shy, just go to the chat box and write something, anything, because you all have your full name. Yeah, you were all right, good. This thing automatically is saved and it's searchable. And it saves the blue stuff too. So, hey, sign in, enter your own full name into the chat box now. Good. So, and thank you, you who signed in last, thank you for enrolling in my open math. So I appreciate it. So I'm gonna keep repeating this because people are just staggering in still. It's gonna be great. Hello, please sign in by entering your full name into the chat box. If you're shy, you still have to do it, but you can just direct it just to me. This is how you sign in. The first week you can be dropped based on attendance. And if you don't sign in, I'm gonna think you're not here. So please just enter your own full name into the chat box. You can do it. Oh my God, they keep coming. Well, let me tell you one thing about myself. Tardiness bothers me because it wastes your time and my time. I respect your time. I will be always on time. I will let you out always on time, but I want you to be here on time, not 1-2 minutes later, anything 1-2 minutes earlier. All right, yes. So you need to sign in by entering your own full name into the chat box. Pretty please. Do it or else you will be dropped because I will think you're not here. One more, Marque. He who calls yourself Marque. No, it's not. There you go. No, that's another person. Okay. You need to enter your own full name into the chat box. That's how I take attendance. And it looks like there is an issue here. Looks like not everyone can do it. What's the issue? Okay. We'll talk about it when you're dropped. How fun that's gonna be. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on time. Those of you who did. You should be registered in Math 98 DE, beginning algebra. And so the first thing that I want to explain to you is you might be in the wrong class. So let me go over really quickly what this course is about. Sorry. You're going to see this a lot. This is going to be sort of the chalkboard. I'm going to be in the little corner blabbering, and most of the surface is going to be the paper I'm writing on. You know what STEM means? What does STEM mean? Oh, don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do to an instructor on Zoom. Just let them hanging. And It usually happens, but not in the first class. We're not that tired yet. Okay, there's someone about to talk. Mark? Yeah.
Yes. So the professional term for it. First of all, my name is Mark. It's really nice to meet you guys. I'm really glad to be in this class. So to answer your question, definition of STEM, what I looked up is an umbrella term used to group together to be distinct, related technical discipline of science and technology.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat it a little slower?
Yes. So STEM is in mathematics is an umbrella term used to group together the distinct related technical disciplines of science and technology. Basically, using math as term typically used in context.
Right. Yeah. Okay, just can you tell me what the letters stand for? You're right. You're correct. It's just to be a little bit more simple. What is S for?
Well, the acronym, what does it stand for? True. So the acronym, science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Yes. Okay. So this is a very basic STEM course, which is already, you guys are brave because it's a pretty basic course, but you want to pursue a STEM path. That's a good thing. But at wherever you test, there is also a non-STEM option. So some people are accidentally put into the wrong class. If you're STEM or undecided, you're in the right class. But if you already know that you're non-STEM, this class is much harder than the one you should be taking. Math 98 is a STEM course. The equivalent non-STEM is Math 90. That's okay, it's 1 credit hour, 2 credit hours more, but it will immediately take you to non-STEM college level credit classes. This is gonna take 1 more class before you can do, let's see, this is beginning algebra. Mark, by the way, we sign in by entering our own name into the chat box, if you could do that. Thank you. Beginning algebra. Then there is Math 98, Math 99, intermediate algebra. And then there are college level classes, STEM, college level STEM classes. And what that means is basically you're going to start marching towards calculus. So it's actually, I have an eye on calculus. This is also, you can take the calculus sequence, basically get you ready to calc 1. That's what we have an eye on. This is a 6 credit hour class, while ours is a 4 credit hour class, but it will take you immediately to a non-STEM college level class. So I have an office hour immediately after this class. So if you're not sure, just meet me in my office hour. And if you tell me what your major or what your highest level class should be, then I can tell what you need to do. But if you're in the wrong class, you should be able to figure that out pretty quickly, like first week. So that's why I wanted to start with that before you lose interest. Is there any questions about that? Okay. All right. So let me start with that office hour while we're at that. Oh, no. So what I'm going to start with is sorry. I just put the course syllabus into the chat box. Go get it. We lose on Monday, and I can live with that, but I cannot live with losing an entire week. So what I'm saying is, I don't want you to just having fun on the weekend, we didn't really get started. No, we need to get started. So what I like you to please do is open up that syllabus that I just provided for you. I'm going to try to get there. Here it is. And go to page, where is it? Jesus. page 3. Here it is, online platform, MyOpenMath, free and mandatory. Here is the login, here is the course ID, and here is the enrollment key. You need to do this as I'm blabbering at you. You need to do this right now. There are 3 people on the roster. You all need to get on the roster, not today, but right now, because what I want to do is I want to walk you through how to navigate MyOpenMath so that you're not going to waste this weekend, because we lose spring, Monday, Wednesday classes are strange. We're always pressed for time. We lose 2 Mondays, crazy. So please, while I'm talking at you, enroll in the MyOpenMath class. I'm just going to monitor the roster. Did I get one more? It's completely free, also completely mandatory. Yeah, I got one more. Good, good. Keep it coming. Sorry. So let me start now. Let me start with the office hours. So if I go back to the office hour on the first page, did I close the? On the first page, my office hours are listed. Please don't ask me when I have my office hours. I don't know it either. I would have to look it up to answer your question. You look it up. It's there. It's also at another place, which is always dangerous to have to list things in duplicates because it's prone to error. But it is also, let me show you where. No. So this is the main course. I try to keep it pretty clean. Everything is going to be 100% math except for course information. So whatever you want to ask, and it's not math, it's going to be in this folder. I click on it, and then there are several little things here, folders, I guess. I'm going to click on Zoom links because that's where I'm again listing my office hours. I had one right before this class, and I will have another one right after this class. But notice that there are 2 links. It's just like in a real school, you know, there is a classroom, and when I'm not teaching you or another class, I'm in my office. So if we have to meet for any reason, and it's not 12:30 till, I don't know, 2:15 on Monday, Wednesday, you always need to use the orange link, the office link, okay? Don't, you know, we make an appointment and then you hang in there, wait for me in the blue link, and I'm waiting for you, orange link. I just want to avoid that right now. Nip it in the bud. And then there is one more thing that I'd like to explain. It's actually better than it appears. So you see, there are 2 columns. There are the walk-in hours. And you see there is one 11 till noon, that was before the class, and then 2:30 till 3:30 till 3 is after the class. So that's for your convenience. But then there are also these hours in the other column that says by appointment. And notice those are early. Those are right before my early morning classes. By appointment, I don't mean by appointment. It's more like by notification. So I just need to know you're coming. I don't need to agree. I'll be there no matter whether students are there or not. But just the night before, shoot me an email that you're coming. Don't wait for a confirmation email. I will probably not. Email is difficult right now. It's just overwhelming. In the morning, I get up, I check my email, and if I see that the student is coming, I will know to put my prep time aside it. So I just need to be notified. It's not an agreement in an appointment. Just shoot me an email the night before, okay? Or beat me to it. I get up at 4. I think the night before will be better. Any questions about that? Okie dokie. Now, when I say shoot me an email, I don't mean shoot me an email. I mean, yeah, you guys are in a different generation. You guys are more technology savvy than I am. What I mean is use the MyOpenMath Messenger to message me. The MyOpenMath Messenger is the first link on the left. Please please, as much as you can use this, avoid the CCC email. It's just, the CCC email, I just get it. I just got yesterday one from a student, forgot me to tell me his name, which of my 4 different classes he is taking, and it gets buried under piles and piles of emails. Meanwhile, on my OpenMath, it gets filed within the class with your name on it, and it's not going to get buried under junk mail. And also, whenever I'm working, it's usually on my OpenMath, so I see it immediately. Really, the only time you should use CCC email is when you want to go and record that, yes, I did send this email to this teacher. Any other reason, there's no other reason to use a CCC email. Use my OpenMath. And when you use the messenger from Brightspace, that just sends it to the CCC email. So just stay within my OpenMath, pretty please. You will see that I'll get better much quicker that way. Okay. Any questions about that? Okie dokie. Let's go to. Okay, so this is your view. On the left, there is the gradebook. Nothing will happen on Brightspace. Everything is going to happen on my OpenMath. Has some advantages. So this one is kind of algebra review, some mixed review, but let's just go through this thing here. So the first folder is syllabus and course information. If I click on it, here are the 4 most important links. The syllabus, you have it. You probably have it. It's the same thing that I put in the chat box. This, we're going to talk about it. There are certain suggestions and requests, and I'm begging about some stuff. We'll go over it. The calculator information, and then the textbook is free. It's basically, I'm writing it. I put together my handouts, and I will deliver the material in standalone handouts, but that's the same as the book. It's the same source. It's free PDF. Every time you click on it, you're doing me a favor, whether you're taking the class or not. Now, the syllabus has a little paragraph about the calculator right here. The most important thing, you cannot use a graphing calculator. But also, this link will explain everything. So you don't have to take notes on what this information is available to you. But buy exactly this, not something just similar. Let me show you an example. This is just by accident. I have them both. So, oh my God. Oh, there you go. We're good. We're good. This is the calculator I'm trying to get you to buy. It's depending on where you buy it, it's between 12 and 20 bucks. This one, look at the names. This one is a TI-30XA. This is a TI-30X, Roman numeral 2S. So a lot of the time, students buy this instead of that. Or the 34, which is much worse than any of these 2. So let me show you the difference because it's pretty remarkable. This is a very, very user-friendly calculator. So that Roman numeral 2 stands for a 2-line displayer. So that means that the first line shows what I entered. The second line will show the answer. 2 + 5 × 3, there. This one does not have. And it's a little paranoid, especially if your hands are shaky like mine. What did I enter? 2 + 5 × 3. See, whenever I punch something, the previous one is disappearing. And that's very unsettling. And I think it's going to keep, no, okay, at least it's not doing it again and again and again. So make sure to buy exactly this, because if you just get close enough, you might end up with a really crappy calculator. Suppose you already have a calculator. Yeah. Suppose you already have a scientific calculator. Do you have to buy another one? It depends. If your calculator can do this, then it knows too much. You cannot use it in class. This calculator will just give you a decimal if you enter square root of 12. Square root of 12 right there. That's the test. That's also stated on the syllabus. But there is an advantage to, if you buy this, then I'm going to show you all the tricks on it. I may not be able to tame your calculator if it's a different model. Okay. So far so good. All right. Oh, I really think you should buy a document camera. That's the other thing. It's not mandatory. It's recommended, but really, really highly recommended. You're taking a remote class when you could have taken an in-person class. There is a reason for that. And I have a feeling that remote is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere in education or in corporate America. And that means that I think very quickly, a document camera is going to be like a cell phone. Like, it's going to be weird if you don't have one. The one I have is $150. The one I had for years before that is $100. And that knows more than what you need. And it's good for many, many years. I think it's a good investment. You can buy one for $40. I put a link and a picture of the one. This one has a little light on it. Yeah, I'm talking about, this is a document camera here. I use the document camera and the software that comes with it whenever you see this. So it's pretty useful. You can see what I write. And imagine if you have this camera or something more basic, then I can see what you write. And that might be very important and very useful in office hour setting or during class. There are other reasons for a document camera. You're gonna be asked to upload work. So it's not gonna be a kind of class where you just enter final answers into boxes. Yeah, that too. But very often I'm gonna ask you to show steps. That always has to be handwritten. Typed work will only be acceptable if it's an essay or there is a medical condition that necessitates. Any other case, it cannot be typed. It has to be handwritten. So it's on a paper. Then it has to become somehow an image, and then it has to somehow find its way on the computer. Once it's a file on the computer, it's pretty easy to upload it. There are 3 ways to do that. I think the easiest way, if you have a printer that can also scan, you just scan that thing like a photocopier, you just feed it in there, and then it will give you one PDF file. The second best is to have a document camera. With the document camera, you just plug into the computer via the USB drive, and then you see the view that I see. Actually, let me show you a little something about it. You see this in the bottom? That's it. It's one click to make a snapshot of it, and the file is right there on the computer. Because the third way is very painful, and I don't think you should put up with it. The third way is make pictures with your cell phone, then email the images to yourself or text it to yourself, then go to the computer, check your email, download the files, and then you can upload it where they belong. I think to avoid that, it's worth getting a document camera. But these are the options. I heard there are other things, like there are phone apps that turn images into a single PDF file, but that was just something I heard. I don't know. Now, how do we add work? Let me show you. First, I want to show you the settings that you're going to encounter on MyOpenMath. That's that. So if we go into course information, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth, but we almost finished the Zoom links. Let me just show you the last link there. So my office hour links are there, and the Math Center. Go use them. It's not an either or. Go to the tutoring center and come to my office hours. So we're done with this. Getting started with MyOpenMath. So if you open up that folder, this is a little quiz. It will count as a quiz, but it doesn't have any math content. It basically just teaches you how to enter stuff in. How do we enter a fraction? How do we enter stuff in MyOpenMath? Just an orientation thing. And then this folder, oh, something is wrong. There should be 3 things there. But that's, hold on, let me just make the change. My bad. And it's so complicated. Started something else. Aha. So I'm going to refresh this page because I made some changes. Aha. So these are the 3 different settings that MyOpenMath understands. And I want to point out the last one that is called a review setting. You see, it says past due date, and I don't want you to freak out. As it turns out, review mode is only possible if it was a quiz or a homework that expired. So I have to make something expire. But I'm telling you that you don't need to freak out because the deadline is so absurd, it cannot be your fault. Is this the right folder? Of course not. Sorry. Look at the expiration date. That cannot be your fault. January in 2020, that's 2 years and a day ago. That cannot be your fault. That's I'm telling you, don't freak out. This is just in review mode. Now, review mode means it's never assigned, it's never for grade, but it's a tremendously useful resource. You click on it, you say practice, and then I'm missing another setting. I'm so sorry. I thought I did it. There's so many settings. Sorry. I wish I could say it's never going to happen again, but let me just fix it. So, and whenever you see something is missing, just shoot me an email from MyOpenMath, because unfortunately there is just way too many settings, and I usually miss 1 or 2. So let me fix that. Why is it? I could have sworn I fixed it this morning. There, okay. Sorry. Okay, so back with the review settings. So I click on it, I say practice, and so there are 3 resources here. This last one is the one that I forgot to include, message instructor. So if you click on that, MyOpenMath makes a screenshot of the question. It starts an email, and all you have to do is write. The more specific you can be, the less writing I have to do, the less reading you will have to do. Use it within reason. If you send me 2, I'll answer them both. If you send me 30, I will just request that you come to my office hour. Then here is another link that's a video. And very often there is going to be links to reading as well. Now, can anyone tell me what the correct answer should be here? Actually, 5 is first of all, thank you for talking to me. That's much, much, much better than not trying to. That's a very common mistake that I see. I'll enter it. Submit question. You see the color is red, and there is this little crisscross here that indicates wrong, wrong, wrong. And this is for answer key. This little key, when you click on it, it shows you the correct answer. We will discuss this. I actually very carefully teach this, although it's a prerequisite, but I know better. I know you guys need this. So there is the message, the instructor, there is the video, and now you can get a similar question. Well, that's very, very similar, isn't it? Oh, no, so I'm going to enter 30 because I want to show you, this is what it looks, so little check mark, green color. And sometimes a question has more than one part. If you get it all right, it's yellow. Oh, I'm sorry, if you get it all right, it's green. If you get it all wrong, it's red. And if it's mixed, like what I'm going to create now, then it's going to be yellow. I think 2 of them are correct, but not, see? So you see, and the scoring indicates 2. So whenever something is in review mode, this is basically how I'm giving you the material. It usually includes writing, videos, and unlimited practice with immediate feedback, and you can get the answer. Is there any questions about review settings? I will usually do it topic by topic. So if you study today 3 topics, then there is going to be 3 separate items. It makes for a lot of handouts, but the whole thing is searchable. If you go on, you see course map. If you click on course map, you will see it's going to be much longer than this, and this is searchable. You just have to enter Command F on PC, no, Control F on PC or Command F on a Macintosh. And then you enter, I don't know, syllabus. And then there it is. It will say, oh, there is one of them. Say I'm looking for something like set. There is one up here and 3 of them. So it says there is the orange one is the first one out of 4, and then you can toggle. You know, Command F is new in my life, and it's a quality of life improvement. That's what it was in my case. I love Control F, Command F. It's just sweet. You can do that with websites, PDF files, just about anything except for images. Soon that's coming too, I'm pretty sure. Now, the other 2 settings, homework settings and quiz settings, are less scary. I just wanted to make sure you don't freak out about the past due date thing. I actually requested, but because I don't like that misunderstanding and that confusion, but that's the only way. The homework setting is, you're going to see it very, very soon. The homework setting will allow you to message the instructor, watch video. It's not going to give you an unlimited number. I think you can try it 2 or 3 times. And you might lose points if you don't get it right for the first time, but it's fairly liberal. But if you feel like you're not sure about this and you want absolutely 100%, you can find the same problem under some sort of review setting arranged by topic. And then I would figure out what to do there and then go to the homework and enter it there. The quiz setting is interesting. The quiz setting is going to be exactly the same thing, like if you give your quiz back to the teacher at the end of class, like here. So you can attempt every question exactly once, and you will have no idea whether they're correct or not. It's just blank. So these are the 3 settings. Just don't freak out on the past due date. Any questions so far? Which is more important? Which setting is more important? I think, well, the homework you get hurt if you don't do it, because you lose points. The homework is for credit. But the review is also important, because if you don't do it, you might fail those same questions on the exam. So I think you're going to have to find, you know, it's not just a subject that we're going to study. You're going to study yourself. Like, do I respond better to videos or reading? For example, I can't stand the videos. I'm too impatient. I like the reading, but I know many of you prefers the videos. So I'm going to give you a lot of resources. I usually try for this trifecta, where you have video, written, and unlimited digital practice. And you have to figure out what works for you. That is something that I'm being told all over the place, that you should support all kinds of learning style. But that means that you're going to have to make some decisions. Like, you don't need all of this. What is it that you need? But yeah, the quiz and exam questions are always the same that are on the review by topic. You know, let me show you my morning class today, because I'm almost done with their stuff. So it's not going to be your class, but it's the Monday, Wednesday morning class I'm teaching. So this is what you're going to see tomorrow morning. No, here is this little Lucy. It says, wait, I'm sharing the wrong screen. I'm sorry. Crazy stuff. Sorry. So by tomorrow morning, it's going to look like this. There is going to be a blue link. It's going to be due Sunday midnight, but it's going to be titled Homework After Week 1. So that's pretty straightforward. And once it's expired, I'm going to shove it into this folder titled Week 1, where here is what we talked. Here are the topics. We went over the course, what I'm doing right now with you. And then we talked about this topic. The colors, green always means reading, purple means video. And so this is basically the announcements of what happened. We just started to study one topic. So if I click on practice by topics for week 1, you're just going to find, oh yeah, I'm sorry, because I'm telling them study on your own these. And so you only see readings, but oftentimes the videos are at the question level. So if I click on graphing lines, practice, that is the video, right? There is not one long video about everything, but just every single problem comes with a video. And not every one of them. Don't skip a problem just because there is not a video. It kind of gives you the wrong idea. I have a very strange job. I'm supposed to teach you how to solve a problem you have not seen before. And that's a struggle. Basically, it's called problem solving. It's not memorizing facts and regurgitating them or recalling things. The essence of mathematics, the main activity is like a puzzle. It's like when you're solving a Sudoku or a Nerdlo or a Wordlo. All of these are addictive, by the way. Do you have experience with puzzles like Sudoku or Nerdlo? It can be joyful when you get it, right? That's the main point of mathematics. And that's often overlooked because the other half is, well, yeah, there are rules, there is content. But basically, my job is to give you problems based on our content that you haven't seen before yet, which is, if you're not struggling, you're doing something wrong. Especially, you're going to love those word problems. So just because there is no video, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try and shouldn't do your best. Let me tell you one more thing, because it's very important to me. Whatever problem I give you, it will be always beyond the scope of this course. Like we're not going to do much math today, and you're going to have homework. But those are really cool problems that require absolutely no math background. They're just puzzles. The whole homework after week 1 is going to be puzzles, no videos probably. But they're kind of fun. Last semester, a student really enjoyed that. And so every time you're presented a problem, you never have to worry about, maybe there is a little fact that I don't know, because that makes you kind of lump. I want you to throw yourself at a problem like a tiger. And for that, you should have the confidence that you have all the tools. So we're going to start from scratch in this class. So I see a question in the chat box. Do we have to study and do homework both by ourselves? You know, I don't believe in. I think if you do the homework, that's it. I really think if you do the homework, you don't have to separately study. I have colleagues who tell students, take good notes and then read them. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just solve the problems. If I do my job right, then you just doing the homework, well, you should get it right. So maybe you run into some trouble with some topic, find a review set, yeah, on your own, figure out what's what, and then go back to the homework. But I believe that if you keep up with the material, you're not going to have to do this separate studying thing. Oh, you're crying. But you want who? So do we have to do the homework both by ourselves, homework and study? Yeah, it's going to be outside of class. You can always go to to the tutoring center. In my office hour, I will not have time to go over the homework with you because that's ours, that's called tutoring. I just answer questions. That's snappy because usually I have 4 students, you know, in one office hour. And so the tutoring center, that's an option. But I actually like that you asked this right now, because we don't know a whole lot about the brain and mathematics learning or teaching. We know very little, but here's something that we know for a fact. Students who work together outside of class do better than students who don't. Now, on my Open Math, you can only contact me. I don't want to have to moderate conversations. I don't want to be in charge of that. But I am pretty sure that you can contact anyone in your class from Brightspace and from Navigate. If that's a no, come see me, because then I'm going to facilitate that you guys can contact each other and form your own study group. But I don't know what else to say about by yourself. Like what would be an optimal thing for you as opposed to by yourself? It's a living. Oh, okay. Yeah. We should talk at the end of the class, because the way you speak English, you might be misplaced. You might be taking the wrong class. We should talk after. Don't go away after class. We should talk. Okay. There's this other thing is that I stopped going there, but the last time I was on ratemyprofessors.com, I know a student of mine wrote that every time you ask a question, she gets mad. So that's not exactly the case. So if you go back in, yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. So, Sabrina? Okay, good. So that's not exactly the case that I get mad every time students ask a question. Sometimes students ask a question because they want to burn the clock for a quiz. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. But that particular situation was that student was 40 minutes late and then asked the question I just finished answering. And yeah, I got pissed. So don't believe everything you read up there. Questions are really important. You know, I think big breakthroughs in mathematics were, it's the right question. If you ask the right question, then the answers are easy. And so if you come on time and you do homework, you cannot ask a wrong question. There is no silly questions or wrong question if you do what you're supposed to do. And you will see my attitude about that. I usually prefer you. So here is another thing. If I'm in the middle of an explanation and you don't understand it, stop me. Even if you have to interrupt me, because I'd rather do that than repeat the last 20 minutes because you were too polite to stop me. So that's another thing I prefer. Right then and there. I already heard these things. You are the audience. So if for some reason you need us to stop, just stop us. It's a small class, 10 people. So I want to keep everybody. By the way, did you all sign in? Yeah, I see names that weren't here at the beginning. So you can get dropped based on attendance. To make sure you sign in, just enter your own full name into the chat box, please. I see at least one new name. Actually, yeah, one new name. All right. Any other questions? So the main activity in mathematics is problem solving. And a lot of people, including some of the teachers, think that there is a lot of memorization in mathematics. I don't think that's true. Actually, that's what got me about mathematics. That's why I fell in love in mathematics. I hated memorizing. I still do hate memorizing. And in mathematics, you have to memorize a few things, but the rest you can just sort of derive, sort of figure it out on the spot. You do not have to memorize things. But it's not really memorizing. It's more like internalizing. What's the difference? Understanding. You can memorize things that you do not understand, but that's hard as hell, and it doesn't stick. If you understand things, you can walk that path again. Well, it's like, what is easier to remember, a random meaningless chain of letters or a word? Which one is easier to remember? The word is easier, right? There is kind of a concept, and it sticks to the concept. So I think that's what mathematics should be, like that. So you need to understand. If you don't understand, something is wrong. You need to practice and understand. These are the two components. And you shouldn't memorize a great deal. You shouldn't spend time memorizing. I'll show you how to memorize those few things. And so I want to ask you not to do something. Basically, I'm trying to teach some sort of a technique. And then a student doesn't want to learn it, doesn't want to understand it. And then they go online, they research, and they find a formula. They have no idea what that formula is about, but it gives them the answer. That's the opposite of what I want to do. That's using a formula without understanding it to avoid learning mathematics. That is in every class of mine, is always a 0 point. And it's just so epidemic because you can do it right now. At least in the classroom, you couldn't do it. No, it's just stay within the confines of the course where we are. You do never have to go online. The problem with the internet is there is a lot of good stuff, but it's buried under a pile of manure. There is a lot of people posting online who have no business posting online. And I will make sure that very carefully design the class around this conversation and all the coursework, which is why the homework is going to be written after this class is over. Usually my deadline is going to be when you wake up the next morning, everything will be up, top shape. Some things will go up immediately. Some things will take a lot of time. For example, this class meeting is recorded, and those recordings take forever to edit. So those are usually the last ones to go up, but my deadline is by next morning. So by Thursday morning, you're going to see the homework and the week one and all the topics, but not before. Sorry. Any questions? Okay. Let me go back to the. That's not it. It's not even close. That's not 8. Student view. Okay, we're good. Check this out. These are some good places. Again, green is written, purple is videos. These are, Khan Academy is good. You can go there. I still prefer you come to me, but oh well. This YouTube video was by your instructor. This is a PDF file. And green means it's a longish 20-minute lecture, and the blue links are, I'm just solving that particular problem right there. And it's 17 pages, so it might be useful. But it's weird to navigate, so download it. Here is a free algebra book. Oh my God, this one you should check out. Please check out Math as a Second Language. This is by an absolute brilliant professor. I'm so smitten by him. His name is, he just died, I think, in 2 years ago. His name is, oh my God, I'm at the wrong screen again. You guys are too quiet. Okay, so what was I blabbering about? Okay, so these additional resources. There is some real good stuff here. So green is written, videos are purple. Khan Academy is a good place. You can go there. These YouTube videos. Oh, this is when I lost the window, didn't I? No, it's here. So the blue links are just solutions to the problem listed there, the green ones. Did you know that parentheses does not mean multiplication? Did you know that? parentheses do not mean multiplication. We're going to discuss that today. I'm going to try to persuade you. And I know many of you probably were told that parentheses means multiplication. Not so. Back. So you see, this is another guy. His website is called Math is Power for You. He's teaching all over the place from head to toe, really, from beginning algebra to advanced calculus. And you see this example, 1 example, 2. Sometimes you can't tell the difference. That's why I typed out the problem. These are all videos, example videos. So if you like him, Math is Power for You. Yeah, you can go to this website. But try not to discover some other website. And this is the one I'm crazy about. This math is a second language. This is a self-study course. It is an arithmetic course. You know what the difference between arithmetic and algebra? What's the difference between arithmetic and algebra? PIMDAS. Yeah. Well, no, but it's I don't mean PIMDAS, but it's right in that neighborhood. We'll talk about it today. We'll talk about PIMDAS today, and I'll make my case how parentheses do not mean multiplication. I like your questions. So the difference between arithmetic and algebra is the letters. Arithmetic has only numbers. Algebra is when they start putting in the letters, and it's a shock to the system when that happens first. You already forgot it. It was a long time ago, but it's a shock to the system. So this is actually an arithmetic course. It's the very first, and there are videotaped lectures. I highly recommend. This is just a spectacular guy, just such an awesome person. His name is Professor Herbert Gross, and just a really, really, really fantastic teacher. Very, very smart. He was teaching at MIT and at prisons. And if you stopped someone at MIT and asked who's the best math teacher, his name would be the one that comes up. So he was fantastic. And yet he's teaching something very fundamental in a way that is really, really smart. One thing I will not do, I will not talk to you like you're not smart. I don't think you're bad at math. I think you had some bad teachers. That's why you're taking this class. But I will not dumb down. This is not a dumb course. This is a pretty difficult course. And I will talk to you like you can handle it, because I know you can handle it. Okay. So that's the folder, additional resources. Again, just explore it. But highly recommended. Website. You'll check it out. And then these ones are really interesting. If you want to study, I think you should explore this. Actually, the last one. No, I think AMC 8. Okay, I'm gonna fix this, but AMC is American Mathematical Contest. And so I think you need AMC 8. That's 8th graders, not 10th graders. These are really cool problems. And this website is huge. There are some really interesting problems. This is where I go problem solving just for fun. And then oftentimes the solutions have their own links in them. This one has 4 solutions. There is a video solution and 3 different solutions for the same problem. But sometimes the solutions have links to mathematical topics. Let's see, maybe this one, it has 4 solutions. All right, so I'm not gonna waste your time on that. I think I'm gonna post the link to the 8th grade. You have to find your own level. But what these are, they are low-level math problems, basically math problems for kids who are like super smart. And that means you don't need a lot of background, you just need to think about it. That's a real cool place. So if you want to spend time with math, I think you should sharpen your teeth on those math problems. Okay, what else? Oh, that's going to be a lot of clicking, isn't it? Okay. All right. So we did all this. Now, I want to go back to getting started with MyOpenMath and show you how to add work. So it's not exactly what you're going to see, and you're not going to see it in this weekend. But if I click on quiz settings, you see this button, it says add work. It's going to be like this. You have a quiz with 10 questions, probably 3 or 4 will have this button, and the other 6 or 7 won't. And so if the button is there, that means you have to upload. It's like when you click on it, it's like an email attachment. And when you attach the first thing, I'll just attach something silly, then immediately the spot opens up for the next file. So I just sent up, I don't even know what, there. You can remove it, and then I do not know, no one reached the upper limit there. So you can send up as much as you want, but with this button, only send up work here. I'll be more precise. So this is not typical because every problem has that button, because I want you to practice uploading your work. And usually you can check from the gradebook. In the gradebook, everything that's blue is a link. And next week I'll show you. Right now the gradebook is kind of silly looking. I can't even go into the gradebook. Hold on, let me just. That's one thing that I cannot do is look at the gradebook as a student. And if I look at the gradebook as a teacher, I'm showing you each other's grades. That's not something I'm supposed to do. Okay, so just do this. Okay, so it's not really exciting yet, but this is what the gradebook will look like. And this upper thing is going to get longer and longer because every single assignment separately is listed. And this is going to stay this cute and small. This is the summary. It computes all the homeworks average to, it's not applicable yet. And all the quizzes average to this. And then the last line is your weighted average. Those, I know what. I'm going to show you. I'm going to violate some other students' privacy from my past. That's going to be more meaningful for you to see. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so this is what a typical gradebook looks like. You see, these are all the, actually, it's not all the assignments, not all the problems, it's just the ones that count for grade. That's another setting. And they are colored by categories. So there is a category for 10% of the grade, exam 1. There is another one for 15% of the grade, exam 2, exam 3, and exam 4, and the quizzes. And there is the average, and then it takes the average, and sometimes these 3 numbers are not the same. Now let's see, past due and available. This tells me that this person completed forever available assignment and did well on it, because the average based on only the past due assignments is lower. Whenever I'm assigning grades to you, I just look for the highest one. But you don't have to do computations a lot. It's right here in this little last line of your summary table. I want you to notice though that there is a category that contributes 0% of the grade. And that category is called practice. And it's purple or pink or whatever you call this color. And this is not all the practice thing, because all the review settings are this. It's just the ones that I accidentally set for count toward the grade. Usually the correct setting is this should not count towards the grade. But sometimes I just miss that setting. You have already witnessed several of them. And so there is a fail-safe. Even if that thing counts for a grade, it will contribute to practice, which contributes 0% of the grade. So it still doesn't count towards the grade if its category is practice. But more importantly, you can learn a great deal from the grade book, because everything that's blue here is a link. And so there you can see some pretty important things, usually 3 things. What was the question? What was your answer? And what the correct answer is? Now, this is going to be a boring one, because this is a very good student. Let me go into something that he got wrong, at least partially. There we go. Exam 3 was, that might not be what I think. See, I'm glad I clicked on. So here is the question. Here is the answer that the student gave, and here is the correct answer. This is my my feedback, broken down problem to problem. It's here. You can access it here. There is something that I want to show you. Excellent. Let me try this one. No. Oh, sorry. There's something that I want to show you specifically. But this person scanned their work. I'm not getting lucky here. Sorry. I'll stop. Just let me try one more time. Let's do just the same. Let me try another class. Sorry. There. Exam 1. This is the last attempt, but I think this is going to be what I want. No. Yeah, that's terrible. How did this happen? Okay. Sorry. So here is what I wanted to show you. Is submitting work. About submitting work. If you are solving a problem and next to it there is a button, I need that problem uploaded there. Now, you can make a picture of 5 problems and just one of them is that's okay. But you have to upload it there, because the way I grade, and that's what I wanted to show you, the way I grade, I say, okay, here is problem number 3. And then my OpenMath shows each student their name, their answer, and the work. And so it has to match. So you can't upload just all the work at one problem, because I don't know where to look, and that's not how it works. Now, if you have your quiz is just 1 page and it fits in 1 file, but I'm asking it, it's okay to upload that file 3 times where I'm asking. But the problem, the work with the problem should be with that problem. Otherwise, sometimes I will not know that you actually submitted it. So I just wanted to show you an example of how it shows, but I got unlucky. I'll get it by Monday. Okay. Okay. Now there's other stuff. Sorry, sure. Other stuff, but I kind of want to start with the math. Okay. So parentheses does not mean multiplication. Is there anyone who agrees with that? Anyone who disagrees? What do you think? Just enter into the chat box. What do you think? Parentheses, multiplication, go. So here is the problem. I don't know. In this country, somehow basic math is looked down on, but that's the hardest one to teach well. And so oftentimes people who teach higher level math, they don't teach lower level math because they're too good for it. And therefore, the lower level math classes are taught by people who just do that one class. And they may not know it right. They might be just a half a page ahead. It's weird because I think the more basic a class is, the harder it is to teach well. I teach Calc too, but I actually prefer this class. This one is more difficult to teach well. You know, whatever I do, the Calc students are okay. They can get their own resources. They're okay either way. This class is much harder to do well. So, but the problem is that oftentimes the people who teach you, they don't see beyond their own course. All right, so in this class, you probably will not get in trouble if you think that parentheses means multiplication, but pretty soon you will get in. There is a situation where you're gonna misunderstand things. So, but let's discuss this PIMDAS thing. So this is about, hold on. Oh, that's a very good point. But people who think parentheses means multiplication. Oh, I really like what, so in the chat box, it says, I guess it depends on what operation takes place inside the parentheses. But the problem is that what if it's just a number? So what if this is clearly 2 times 3, but it's not the parentheses that's telling you that, right? And in this parentheses, actually, this, I gave it a name, I call it a clarifying parenthesis. And this one is a grouping symbol because there is stuff to do inside, right? There is nothing to do inside. And usually people who misunderstand it, they think this parenthesis means multiplication, and I'm here today to talk you out of that. So this is a grouping symbol. And this is an important distinction that you should be talked about. Okay. So let's take care of this parentheses don't mean multiplication business, and then we'll go to PIMDAS. So imagine a conversation, sort of an argument between me and someone who thinks that parentheses do mean multiplication. And then I would say, okay, let's gather all the way we can denote multiplication. Let's say, let's write down 2 times 3 in every which way we can do. What notations are available for writing down 2 times 3? Well, this is my favorite. Notice that the multiplication dot is centered. It's not on the bottom. That's a decimal point. Sometimes I see people drop it. That's 1. This is going out. This looks way too much like the letter X. I think it was maybe during the time of typewriters, this was easier. This is going out. This is a goner. I almost never use it. And then this. And then, so there is the imaginary dialogue. So I would say, okay, is there anything else? Is there any other way we can write down 2 times 3? Oh no, actually. Is there any other way to denote multiplication? And usually people would say, no, that's it. And then I come and I say, okay, well, what denotes multiplication here? This is A times B, and this is 2 times X, 2X. What denotes multiplication here? I don't see the dot, the cross, or parentheses. What on earth means, what here denotes multiplication, which you know it is, right? And the answer is, and you will see mathematicians are pretty lazy. We're going to have 3 motivating desires in mathematics. Number 1 is clarity. Clarity is above all. This is an objective thing. We have to mean what we say and say what we mean. But a very close second is laziness. A lot of the things in mathematics can be explained by laziness. Probably breakthroughs in math too. Someone said probably there has to be an easier way. And so we want a default operation. So if you see 2 things with nothing between them, that's the default operation. That is multiplication. So basically nothing. So nothing between 2 objects indicates multiplication. And that's clear here. And in a way, it's better because if you're solving equations, something like 2x minus 3 equals 5x plus 1, don't worry about it. This is easier to read than 2 times x minus 3 equals 5 times x plus. This is harder to read. So it's not just laziness, it's actually number 1, clarity as well. So it's a good thing. So in fact, there is a lot of things set in stone, and then there are these other things that are just weird habits. For example, there is no rule against it, but you could see this. This is multiplication too, but we kind of have this habit, first numbers, then letters, right? Looks weird. 5a or 8 times 5. Looks weird, but still same thing. Now, if you want to write 2 times 3 and you want to have the nothing thing, the problem is that now you're reading it as 23, right? So you want to say, no, you're not looking at the number 23. You're looking at the number 20, number 2, and the number 3 with nothing in between, indicating multiplication. So you have to sort of indicate the boundary of where one thing ends and the other begins. And in the 50s, it was this. In the 50s, they would use two pairs of parentheses to say, no, you're looking at 2 items with nothing in between them. And that nothing indicates multiplication. And then after a while, people, laziness, said, wait, we can get away with dropping the first one or dropping the second one, but that too looks kind of weird. That looks kind of weird, doesn't it? But it is the nothing. And so sometimes when you have something like 3x minus 2 plus 5x minus 7, and you have 4 things here, 3x, one thing, 2, 5x, 7. But sometimes we want to indicate that, no, we want to add 2 algebraic expressions. 2, so in a way, it's not 4 little animals, but 2 bigger ones. People who think that parentheses means multiplication tend to start multiplying these 2, even though it's still addition, the operation. So parentheses themselves are like punctuation. They don't have their own meaning, but they help you with the rest. They help you understand the rest. And so there's a big difference between a clarifying parenthesis and a grouping symbol. And the difference is there is nothing to do here. And whenever it's possible, I drop these and I go with the dot notation. But that's not set in stone. It's just one of those things. Sorry, there's something I lost. Let me just get that real quick. Give me just 1 second. Oh, terrible. Okay. So about PIMDAS. It is another myth that I would like to bust, myth that I would like to bust. And that is the way you pronounce PIMDAS. I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place. The way you pronounce PIMDAS is M first, then D, because so happens we cannot pronounce 2 letters at the same time. But that causes issues because people tend to incorrectly think that multiplication comes before division. You see, I didn't write it in one line. M and D and E and S are aligned horizontally because they're equally strong. You cannot pronounce them at the same time, sadly, but at least in writing, you can indicate that. And so this is the hierarchy. It's pretty simple. Parentheses, exponentiation, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And so here are the two rules. Rule number one, if you have two things that are separate, that are at different levels of the hierarchy, you always do the stronger first. So if you have a subtraction and an exponentiation, you do the exponentiation first. The second rule is if you have two things at the same level, you have to go left to right. Whichever comes first visually as we go left to right. First come, first served. These are the two rules, and that's it. Different level, go with the higher first, equal level, left to right. So here is a common, I'll set you up for this. I hope you won't fall into this. See, well, let me ask you three questions. Two questions first. How much is the first one? How much is the second one? I forget something. So 24 divided by, so the parenthesis here tells you first the parenthesis. That's overrides the, so 24 divided by 2 is 12, and then 12 times 3 is indeed 36, as it's in the chat box correctly. Now here we're dividing by 6. That's 4. So when you see this, you better know what you're doing because you're going to get it wrong if you guess wrong, right? So if you see this sequence of operations and numbers, is it the first one or is it the second one? So you're saying this is 4? So what I read in the chat box is, right. So first of all, the correct answer is in the chat box. Yeah, right, but left to right, not right to left. Left to right, first the division, right? It's basically you scan and then, so you do the division first and then the multiplication because of the way they are organized. If I swap them, then you do it in the swapped order. Here is the funny thing. If you actually, this is not exactly universal. I'm not sure, I don't remember anymore in my country. It might have been that multiplication did come first, but in this country right now, they're equally strong. But the funny thing is, and this is from Africa, some people were taught in Africa that it's always division first. And if you do division first, you never get it wrong. It's kind of an interesting little fact. If you reverse what this suggests incorrectly and you do divisions before multiplication, you will always get the right answer. But it's still not the order of operation. The original official order of operations is left to right if they are equally strong. And so that's kind of important to me. Again, it's the same 3 questions. So here, because of the parenthesis overrides it, we're going to say 5 plus 7, which is 12. Here, we're going to get 2 plus to 2, we add 10, which is also 12. So what happens is that if you mess up order of operations, you get away with it. But there is still one unique, correct way of interpreting order of operations. There is still something that, if I ask you what is the order of operation, there is one correct answer, and that is first add, then add, because left to right. It's just that you get away with it if you mess it up, because addition has such nice properties. This property actually has a name. If for all numbers, a plus b plus c, a plus b plus c, this way is the same as this way, that's called, it's like whom you group, whom you associate with whom, it's called the rule of associative group. And that's a very nice property of addition. Subtraction is not associative. Addition is associative, not subtraction. The first one is how much? The first one is 6, because we're talking about, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the paper to the top. Sometimes you guys cannot see the paper unless it's on the top of my desktop. This is 7 minus 1, which is 6, but this isn't 6, right? That one is 8. So because from 10, now we're subtracting 1 less than 3. And so you better know what you're doing here, because if you violate order of operations, you don't get away with it, because subtraction does not have this nice property of being associative. So subtraction and subtraction is, well, it's as equal as they get, so you go left to right. So it's the first one. Oh, fun fact, and I haven't known this for a long time. You know, these used to be circles, the parentheses. So in earlier mathematics, these were circles, and then they just, did I mention we mathematicians are lazy? We just drop the top and the bottom of the circles, and that's how we got the nice little parentheses thing that we have going today. Okay, any questions so far? So parentheses doesn't mean multiplication, and watch, multiplication is not before division, addition is not before subtraction. I don't want to tell you all the things, just the ones that I just want to hit the incorrect thoughts in your head, because they are the ones that mess you up. I hope I persuaded you. Even if you really liked your previous math teacher and you had a really, really good relationship with them, they're wrong and I'm right. Sorry. So I want to do an example. This one is going to be a little bit involved, but let's just do it. Okay, kind of a beast. So the first thing that I want you to do is just count how many operations do you see? Not how many type, how many? How many operations do you see? How many operations are there? Oh, there's much more. There is a multiplication, right? 4 times whatever this is. So there is a multiplication. There is another multiplication. There is a subtraction. There is an exponentiation. There is an addition. That's 5. Subtraction, exponentiation, addition, multiplication, exponentiation, that's 10. And there are 2 more, so 12. Now, I'm not, yeah, very good. I'm not going to be always like that, but for a while, I'm going to be kind of mean. And it's strange that students can't seem to get it. If the problem is, the topic is order of operations, I'm gonna write down, you know, quiz, for each of the steps, write an entire line. So that means we're going to need 12 lines. We're just going to do one operation at a time. And there are advantages of that. So every time you look at the line, we don't have to worry about the order, just the one thing we need to perform. And then we write down the line neatly. And if we can read our own handwriting, which is kind of a must in algebra, then we're looking at an easier problem. And the question is just same, just what is the one operation we should do? So what do you think is the one operation we should do first? Also, before you attack something like that, make sure that your parentheses match. You should have as many opening, as many closing, and colors help you. Don't be shy with colors, or make one much bigger than the other, and you kind of see what's going on. You should figure that out on the first line. It's not going to get better. So 2 times 5 is the first thing. Close, but no cigar. And thank you for talking to me. No, just one. Don't give me 3 of them. Yes, 3 squared is the first one, because we zoom left to right. And as long as this is parentheses, we have to work inside the parentheses until it becomes a number. Which one? Well, this one comes before this, left to right. So the first thing is that this will have to become a number first. So inside this parenthesis, there is another little PIMDAS problem. In there is a parenthesis. And so we're going to be stuck here until this becomes a number. And inside, there is a multiplication, a subtraction, and an exponentiation. The strongest one is the exponentiation. And it's going to bother you, but it's you're going to learn that your brain can rest while your hand is busy. We're just going to do that one operation. We're going to copy the rest. You'll live. So now we have a somewhat shorter problem to worry about. What is the one operation we should do? Not the 2 times 5, exactly. So we're going to copy. Think of it as a challenge. It's just so weird that people get the right answer, but they jump over 3 steps. Like, I don't know. It's strange. Okay, what's next? Yeah, -9. Okay, what's next? Yes, and so here, there is something I want to talk to you about. I prefer this notation here because you're supposed to carry the meaning, not the visual blindly, right? This is multiplication between 4 and this other thing, whatever that turns out to be. There is nothing indicating multiplication, but it's also correct if you do this, but that is no longer an order of operations thing. This is just a multiplication. It's not up on the level of P up there on the top. This is just level M. So I usually go immediately to the dot. Whenever I can, I avoid these clarifying parentheses. Now, what do we do next? Be specific, this exponent or that exponent. Right, so here is what I see. A lot of people jump the gun and do 2 squared. But you're not allowed to touch exponents as long as there is parentheses inside, right? So you're stuck here until this becomes a number. You cannot touch that. Okay, you get away with it, but that's not the point. Even if you get away with it, there is an order of operations correct, and that, according to that, this has to wait. So indeed, inside the parentheses, which is our last one, finally, we're getting rid of it. is exponentiation, subtraction, multiplication. So we do the exponentiation, we copy the rest. All right, now it's getting shorter and cuter. What is the one operation we need to do now? Oh, come on. Yes, this multiplication. So 4 times 9 minus 2 squared plus 3 times 64 minus 50. We're still, you know, it's kind of, yeah, we're still stuck until this becomes a number. And I don't care which notation you use, but this is no longer, even if you use the parentheses, that's not the kind of parentheses that overrides. It's just a clarifying parenthesis, as I call it. Now what? Yes, exponent now. So now finally, this I see increases exam, people jump the gun and do it right there. And yeah, they get away with it because the answer is correct, but still it's violating order of operations. So 4 times 9 minus 4 plus 3 times 4. Now what? Well, there are, yeah, 4 times 9 is next. So we zoom left to right, no parentheses. We zoom left to right, no exponent. So we're down to multiplication, divisions, left to right. So this is 36. We just copy the rest. I know you're going to hate it, but it's not difficult. Tedious is the word, probably. Now what? Yes, which happens to be my favorite number, 42. Now what? Exactly. Subtraction is as strong as addition. We go left to right. So I could always fit, almost fit it. 32 plus 42, right? This is 32, and then that's 74. So we probably have 13 lines here. We should. So do you have to do that? If you see in my instruction, if I bother to type out for full credit, write an entire line for each step, you're going to lose points if you jump over steps. I'm surprised how many times students get it wrong. And one more thing that I learned looking at students' work, you know, the most common mistake that I see in order of operations is copying the problem incorrectly. That's more general in mathematics. Copying error is probably the most widespread. And that's a bad one because you're looking for the error on the paper and it's nowhere because the error is how you got to the paper. So it's a tricky one. All right. Good. So even among parents, okay, the summary is exponential. Division multiplied and, well, you know, I would just say this, but you know, you don't have to do the summary. Just get the problems right. It's not the same level of knowledge. To be able to articulate it clearly is much higher than what you need. You know, you might know it just in a kind of hidden, you know, you just cannot formulate it in language. That's perfectly fine as long as you can solve the problems. People sometimes demand from themselves that they can articulate it. That's too much to ask. It's okay, just don't demand. I was very good at math, but I made first time I tutored, I made her cry because I wasn't really clear. That's a whole other, and by the time you can clarify it, you're so much deeper. You're understanding it so much deeper. So just as long as you get the problems right and you can handle it. There are people who skip lines and there are people who refuse to write the entire line and they write little, I don't know, just the part that they work on it. You can develop your own notation, but first learn this one. Okay. Any questions? There is always an order of operations. No, no. So actually, it's a good place to stop. No, the homework is not being assigned yet because I'm going to write it tonight. Because I don't know how far we get with the material. I always write the homework after the fact, after the class. It's going to be posted by tomorrow morning, but oh, hold on. But it's going to look like this. Oh, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Wrong class. Terrible. There. This is what it's going to look like tomorrow morning. You see this little thing? Now, this is posted with my morning class, and it's titled not homework yet, but this is what it will look like. It will look exactly like this, but it will be titled homework after week 1. It's going to be loose on the main page. And when it disappears, it doesn't disappear. It's going to go on review mode, and then I shove it into week 1. If it's titled homework after week 1, you will find it in week 1, but also you can search for it on the course map. But this is what it will look like. It doesn't exist yet. I haven't written it yet. And the deadline is going to be right there. It's going to be the midnight Sunday. Okay. You never need to research. You never, ever need to research. It's mathematics is an introvert thing. It's you against the problem, nobody else. It's like puzzles. You don't research a Sudoku, right? I give you all the facts you need. You're not going to need anything beyond what we talked about. You will never have to research. It's try to crack the problem. It's an internal thing. You turn inward and you think. And you struggle, and then you start getting it right. It's just a mysterious thing how this happens. But also, I forgot something. I'm changing my system a little bit. That is something that I'm doing for the first time, and that is that I assign points for class participation. So let me show you today's. I should have done this sooner. So if you go to the classes website, today's participation points are as follows. Oh, you can't see it. That explains it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, so refresh your MyOpenMath page. I put it on the bottom so you don't have to scroll the hell out of. Right, so today class is participation points. 1 point, did you sign in by entering? You don't have to enter your full name, but your full name should show up. Many people, if you just said hello because the blue thing, blue thing has your full name, that's good enough. Then you already earned that point. Did you enroll into the MyOpenMath course today? After this class, I'm going to sit down, and if you're not on the roster yet, you're not going to get that point. The class participation points cannot be made up after the fact. What am I sharing? I'm sharing the wrong things. I'm sorry. Here. Let's not worry about this one. Number 2 is kind of important to me. So let me explain what I want. Doesn't have to be, we have 20 minutes left from the class, but I don't want you to ask me when the office hours are because it's posted. I also don't want you to ask me when the exams or quizzes are. Why? Because they are posted too, and I don't know it. I'm actually changing that pattern too. So if you go to the syllabus, there is a page on it that I want you to find. I think it's page 5. There it is. No, page 6, my bad. This is how things are going to go. And I don't remember it. The night before, I look it up, just like students. Only oh, thank you. Well, I made it. Thank you. I try to keep it down to a low number. It's just what I'm talking about is not linear. So Right, so I look it up just like a student. I look it up the night before and prepare for it on my side. So instead of studying for the quiz, I write one, but I don't have this memorized. And the worst thing I could do is give you an answer because I get things wrong a lot. So don't ask me, it's here. So that class participation point is about, I want you to be able to message me from my Open Math, and I want to make sure that everyone finds this calendar of events. So these 2 points is write me a message from my Open Math in which you include a screenshot of this calendar of events. I'm just sick of telling people to look it up. Like, when do we have exam 2? When do we have quiz 4? I just want to make sure on class 1 that you know where to look for that. So that's that. Do you understand the first, second, and the last one? Any questions about that? Now that's 4 points. The 5th point, cool. The 5th point, we're not going to have time for it, and by Monday is going to be good enough. But the 5th point, let me state my case. Although Zoom is doing something strange starting this morning. No, it's good again. So if you look at the, do you see the other people who are not speaking? Do you see their little icon? Most of them, you just have your name in the middle, but some people have a picture. Now, here is the thing. This thing is recorded. And whenever someone speaks whose video is turned off and there is no picture, their name is just with huge font, their name is in the middle. And that is not a good thing to upload because this class is recorded. I want to upload it, but I don't want to violate your privacy. It's not good to post your name. So I edit it out, but it's a tremendous amount of work. It's really, it makes me miserable. Editing video is a painful thing. So this can be avoided with doing 2 things. Number 1, go to zoom.com, log into your own Zoom account, and then edit your own profile by uploading a picture. It doesn't have to be your picture. I see lovely kittens, lovely dogs, beautiful landscapes, famous mathematicians. I had a student who changed it every week. Doesn't matter, just upload something. Because if you do that, and there is another component. So that's not enough. Someone trying to say? So that's not enough. Right before you click on the classes Zoom, right before you click on the classes Zoom link, you have to go into zoom.com and log into your account. If you do that, it's weird because if you log into Zoom or if you're not, in both cases, they know it's you. But if you're not logged in, it's going to be your name, or worse yet, your username spread all over and not your image. So upload an image to your Zoom profile. And then before you come to classes, please just go first to zoom.com and log in and then click on the link. I had a student who did the first one and she kept forgetting the second one. Just to annoy me, Zoom started to put the student's name on the picture too. But when that thing is in this big view where my head is right now, it's in the corner in small letters. And that's a very easy fix. I just shrink the recording just a little bit. There's nothing going on at the edges. But, you know, covering with black rectangles, covering the student's name every time they speak is really, really making, it's about 1.5 hours per class. So please, please, please do that. Now, these 2 points will be postponed to the end of Monday's class. So you don't have to do it right now. You probably have to log off and log back in. So Monday, that points will be given out on Monday. What worries me is that this morning in my morning class, I was logged into my Zoom account immediately before I clicked. And yet my picture wasn't on there. They're doing something today. Zoom is updating something. And in my previous class, no one had their picture up. They already fixed it because I see pictures. So I knew that they were going to fix it. But Zoom is just finding all kinds of ways to make our life interesting. The chat box says any picture. Well, don't make it offensive. Make it PG-13, but yes, within reason, yes, any picture. I saw Einstein, famous mathematicians. There's all kinds of cute things. People, I actually like it. I like the picture. That was a landscape in my last semester, one of my classes. I had to take a screenshot of it because I got so fond of it. It was just so calming. So I kind of, it can be your picture too if you want, but if you're shy, it doesn't have to be. So that's just to make my life a little easier. So, and now you see that right after this class, I have an office hour. And oops, if I have a visitor, I will not get to it. You probably can enroll into my Open Math before I get to the computer, but do it right as quickly as possible. Because if I get there and you're not on my roster yet, you're not getting that point. Okay. And everything related to today's class will go up the latest tomorrow morning. Don't worry about it. You had enough math. We did 2 hours of math. That's more than enough. Okay. Any questions? All righty then. Thank you guys. I'll see you on Monday.